And there we go with our new show, Take It From Tara, that wonderful jingle composed and performed by the absolutely incredible Krian Hetty. So glad that you all are with us today, and it's an absolutely wonderful first really feeling day of winter. So we are celebrating the fact that there are snowflakes falling. A little bit of sleet has been reported throughout the area, and it is definitely colder than it's been for several days. And so what I want to thank you for is the sponsorships that have been coming in, and we can have a little bit of accompaniment underneath this first beginning part by musician James Sane. This show is brought to you by Vicki Cochran Dentist and by Barry Uli Designs. So glad to have those sponsors on board Crescent Hill Radio as well as Take It From Tara. There is actually hospice care for animals. This is something a lot of people don't know, and we are going to be talking to Heart's Ease Veterinary Hospice veterinarian Courtney Bennett about the great care that we can give to our senior animals in their later days. Vicki Cochran is a local dentist who has quite a few things to teach us about oral health and the impact it can have on the rest of our bodies. Plus, she's a huge animal advocate, and she's going to give you an opportunity to make contributions to animal agencies by visiting her dental practice. Beth Northup has a grip on the real estate market in Louisville, and she knows a lot about it because she's virtually been raised in real estate. So she's going to talk to us about some good news regarding rising home prices. And this is a really good thing. And I'm talking rising prices in general. We're getting good prices for selling our homes, and we still have good prices for buying homes. And a Frankfort Avenue businesswoman receives so many awards that she's had to build an extra room in her house just to hold them. We're going to be talking with Margaret Browning about her great history in this area and Margaret's consignment store. And starting out tonight's show, musician James Sane joins us. I kind of feel like I sort of discovered him a little bit because he plays and sings and he's wonderful, but he also is a great barista at Nancy's Bagel Grounds down here on Frankfort Avenue. So James, I'm so glad that you can join us.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, and thank you very much. I sound a little like Elvis. We want to thank Nancy Theobald, who is filling in on the coffee and bagel counter at Nancy's Bagels to allow you the time to come up here, right?
Yeah.
Thanks, Nancy T. We love you. So, James, you just recently were in a songwriting contest. I want to hear about what it's like to go out on a limb and produce your own music and your own songs and then compete with other people. I mean, because everybody's got to be so different.
Well, everybody was quite amazing, actually. That was the hard part. I didn't even vote for anybody because I felt bad. Everybody was so good, and I think at that level, it comes down to taste.
Really?
Yeah.
Who are the kind of people who are judging these competitions?
It was just the crowd. So the
Really?
crowd got a ballot, and everybody got to vote for each song, and then they just compiled everything.
But you came in respectable fourth out of 473.
I was informed it was third.
Third?
Yeah.
Awesome! So we moved you up a rank. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
What would you describe your style as?
I don't know. Right now, a lot of Nick Drake, a lot of Aaron Copland.
Aha.
Stuff like that.
And you're kind of discovering your own musical path right now. And I know you're writing a lot of instrumental stuff. And I said to him today, hey, James, I could use a few instrumental pieces. And he said, okay, I'll write a few. I love that. Great responsiveness. That's why you are part of Crescent Hill Radio, because we really emphasize and feature local and regional talent. So I'm so glad you could share some of that with us today.
Well, thank you very much.
Would you like to introduce the first piece that you're going to share with us?
This one is called Red River. Wrote it at Red River Gorge. Just kind of hiked up one morning It was night. You're not supposed to do that at night.
That's right.
Only bears like eating people. I don't
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
So hiked all the way up to the very top and watched sunrise and wrote a song. about the
Spectacular.
experience.
All right, this is Red River, James Sane. I saw the sunrise. I heard the sunrise. I felt the sunrise. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. You know, and I'm thinking if we had audience response here, there are 6 people in the studio lobby who would be roaring their approval. So that was fantastic. James Sane, okay, now I want to get it on the record right now that if he makes it big, I am responsible and get at least a 20% cut. 20. Hey, that's what agents get. James, thank you. That was absolutely beautiful. Hey, where can we hear your music? Are you on Facebook or MySpace or something?
I am on Facebook, and I'm going to start putting maybe 5 new songs a day on YouTube, on my YouTube channel.
Wow.
So it'll be like 4 covers and then 1 original.
Wonderful. All right, we need to get him into the jingle writing business. If he can churn out a couple songs a day, that'd be fantastic. James Sane, stick around and play in and out of breaks for me, will you? I would love that. And we want to hear another song from you, too. next, what does your oral health mean to the rest of your body? Dentist Vicki Cochran is going to explain that to us coming up in just a moment.
This program is sponsored in part by Barry Uli Designs. A trip to Barry Uli Designs is an experience you won't forget. Conveniently located in downtown Louisville at 835 East Main Street, the retail showroom is full of furniture, artwork, rugs, lamps, accessories, and includes a full-service kitchen design center. Customer service always comes first. 502-569-7101. You can also discover more Barry Uli Designs at Goss Avenue Antiques and Interiors or online at barryuli.com.
James Sain. Thank you so much, James. And now Dr. Vicki Cochran joins us. And, I have to thank you because, Vicki, you were the first person who jumped in and said, I want to sponsor your show. So thank you so much because that gave me such confidence and made me feel like, hey, this could actually happen.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that, it was something that sounded good for me, help in the area.
Yeah. Well, we've known each other at the dog park for a long time. We're both those crazy dog ladies, right?
Yeah.
And crazy cat people, too. But the fact of the matter is we've got, we have one microphone that may not be, is it okay? Looks like we've had a little technical difficulty. At least we didn't have a wardrobe malfunction.
Well,
those can be worse.
Would be scary.
Okay, are we both on now? Are we both hot? Are we hot? Are we hot? Can you hear us now? Can you hear us now?
Okay.
Okay. Vicki, I hear you now.
Okay.
All right, that's excellent. That makes a big difference. So basically what we've got is a couple of people who care a lot about animals, but we have an expert in dental health. And how long have you been practicing dental medicine?
Do I really have to say?
Well,
I graduated from
10 years or more.
I graduated from the University of Louisville School of Dentistry in 1984.
Wonderful.
So I'm one of the old guys.
Well, that's okay because you have a lot of experience.
Yeah, we used to make fun of the old guys, and then we turned into the old guys.
Well, that's the way it always goes with all of us. We never thought we would turn into our mothers, and here we are. I look in the mirror every day and see her coming back at me. So one of the things that I read in my little bit of research to prepare for this interview was that Kentucky, once again, is ranking 49th out of the 50 states in the number of low-income adults who receive actual dental care on a regular basis. And I think a lot of that has to do with our proximity to Appalachia. So Kentucky, because we have such a large Appalachian population, which is an extremely depressed area, is really pulled down in the numbers. But oral health, has long been a concern in Kentucky.
It's also here in Louisville. It's amazing how many people I see that have had no dental care in years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's here in Louisville. It's not just Appalachia.
Yeah. So what is it about the lack of care of our mouths that's going to affect us in the long run?
Everything. Your oral health can be a reflection of everything in your body. You have gum disease. If you have gum disease, which if you're not getting your teeth cleaned on a regular basis, if you're not taking care of the teeth in the way the dentists want you to take care of your teeth.
Exactly.
You're going to get gum disease, and that's a constant infection in your mouth.
So if you're diabetic, that could provide you with a whole bunch of other complications, right?
Yes. When I was in school, back in the dark ages, they used to tell us that, you will diagnose diabetes. And I've sent patients, their first complaint is they have a loose tooth.
Isn't that interesting?
The tooth is falling out. And it's like, yeah. And, you're 40 years old and your teeth are falling out. That shouldn't be happening.
No, it shouldn't.
But now we're more aware of it. People are coming to me with, I've just been diagnosed as a diabetic. I know that affects my mouth.
Yeah.
But your blood sugar being out of control, or your oral health being, or having the infection in your mouth can really send your blood sugar out of control. It all is really intertwined.
It is. It's all tied together. And, one of the statistics that shocked me, and this came out in a Diane Sawyer report from about 2009, so it may be 3 years old, but nearly 8% of the adult population in Kentucky has had serious tooth decay or gum disease, and many of them are wearing dentures.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even believe that.
Yeah.
That's a huge number. And we've also got numbers like 56% of mothers report that they didn't have any dental visits during their pregnancy. And I remember my own grandmother was told, now
Don't
when was
go to
that?
the dentist.
Get your teeth pulled because the baby nursing is going to take all the calcium out of your body.
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of crazy stuff is that?
And now we know that the baby doesn't take your calcium. Other things are involved there.
Sure.
But now we know that not getting dental care during a pregnancy can lead to premature birth, early birth weight, or low birth weight babies, miscarriages. For the most part, healthy women can receive dental care during pregnancy, and they should receive dental care during pregnancy.
Well, on a whole different note, HIV and AIDS still on the rise in Kentucky. Unfortunately, the prevalence of it is increasing, and they always have to deal with mouth issues, with fungal issues, with bacterial issues, viral issues, and not having proper oral hygiene really can impact the status of someone with HIV and AIDS.
Right. This is something you weren't aware of, but for a few years I took a sabbatical when Philip Morris closed in Louisville and moved to North Carolina. And I wound up in a practice that, just because of the situation, we saw most of the HIV and AIDS patients in Charlotte, North Carolina. And it was an eye-opener for me. And this was in 2000, so this is not that long ago.
Yeah.
And I had to, even though we went to classes and we knew about it, being there on the front lines and seeing it every day and feeling for those patients.
Yes.
And, I had patients that I know were needing, they were in hospice care.
Absolutely.
And had severe dental pain. And it was just, it was heartbreaking.
Do you know that another statistic that stunned me is hearing that 30% of high school students and more than that of middle school kids have not been to the dentist in the last year in Kentucky? And it makes me wonder, is it because of lack of dental care that's available? Is it because of the cost of dental care? I mean, I know we have programs for people who don't have insurance, such as Passport Health Care.
Even people that have insurance. That's what I don't understand. People that are employed at Ford and UPS.
Can come every 6 months.
I don't see their kids until they're hurting.
Wow. And when you see somebody, it's usually way past the point of the beginning of a problem, right?
Right. I can see a problem before you're aware of the problem.
Wow.
I can see small cavities. When you come to me, it's probably a root canal or an extraction.
Amazing. Because we just tolerate the pain and keep pushing it aside.
And then with little children, it's not a real tooth. It's just a baby tooth.
Oh, right. But that's important because that's going to set up a whole lot of other trouble for you in the future, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, losing a tooth early messes up their bite issue, but my line is, it really hurts your child.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It may, it is a real tooth, and it really hurts.
All right, we're going to get away from the pain of the teeth for a minute and talk about the pain of the shelter animals, because Vicki and I, as we were talking about, are longtime friends from the dog park, but you do amazing things in your dental practice on Lower Brownsboro Road to help a lot of the local shelters, and especially during the months of December and January. So we thank you in advance for that. Just give us a little detail on what you're doing to help the animals.
We are always a drop-off site for No Kill Louisville's Pet Food Bank.
Wonderful.
The Pet Food Bank also accepts any type of donation. If it's supplies, not just dog and cat food, but the cat litter, all kinds of supplies they use and they distribute to other rescues that need it.
Yes.
We, during the holidays, are a drop-off site for Derby City Dog Rescue, who
was our guest last week.
Yeah, they're my buds. I hang with them.
They're great.
But we're hosting their donation box for their pet angel tree.
I love that. And you're also doing a special thing in that any cosmetic procedures, let me make sure I got this right, during the month of December and January.
Yes.
You're giving.
We will make a donation to a rescue of your choice in the area.
So if I have to come in and get my teeth whitened,
your teeth whitened,
you're going to ask me who I want to give it to, right?
Right.
Who I want to give the money to, and and I'll say, No Kill Louisville or something.
We will get the money there, or we can help. We can explain that. If you call the office, we'll be happy to explain the procedure for it. It's cosmetic procedures are not covered under insurance. We'll be happy to, let's help the dogs. Let's help the dogs out. Let's get them a home for Christmas.
Just to think about this, and then we're going to wrap up. Can you clean my dog's teeth, because it's really expensive to take them to the vet?
I know.
Actually, we have a vet on the show today. I shouldn't have asked you that.
Maybe.
Wow, I could get together. You could. That would be perfect.
Yeah.
You guys could help each other so much. Dr. Vicki Cochran, Lower Brownsboro Road. What's the street address?
2022.
And give us a number for the office, because if we want to drop off stuff for No Kill Louisville, for the food banks, or give us the chance to donate a part of the proceeds of the work that you're doing, how do we reach you?
It is 897-3898. We also are on Facebook.
Great.
And
it says Vicki Cochran, DMD, Doctor of Dental Medicine.
And we have an email address, vcochrandmd@yahoo.com.
I love that. Thanks for taking the time to come in, and thanks for being a sponsor of Take It From Tara.
Thanks.
We really appreciate it, Vicki. A long-time Frankfort Avenue business person is coming up next, and before we honor her for the service that she has performed to our community, we want to hear a little bit more from James Sain. James? James Sain. Everybody is sitting in the studio going, wow, this guy is really good. I had no idea Margaret Browning. I thought he's a nice kid from the bagel shop, and I think I'm going to invite him to come and play the guitar. I think he's got a career ahead of him.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much, James. Margaret Browning, a longtime leader of the Frankfort Avenue Business Association, well known to everyone in town for the work that she's done for Hospirus, and having a great consignment store. Margaret, I'm so glad to have you with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
When I came to the Frankfort Avenue Business Association with the first presentation of Take It From Tara, you were the first one who stepped up and said, I'll do the show. I'd love to.
Oh, and
what we're going to do is surprise you, because what the truth of the matter is today we're not bringing you on to talk about all of the wonderful clothes that you sell, although you do. And I have taken clothes to be consigned
you
and
do.
bought clothes from you many times.
Yeah.
Full disclosure. But to talk a little bit about what you do, and you're on your way to an event tonight, and I'm not even going to ask you what it is, but I'm going to guess that it has something to do with a charity
You're right.
and that you're going to be doing something for this organization.
You're right.
Am I correct? And so talk to us just a little bit about how Margaret Browning came from what you came from when you were a child, because you were born one of 12 children, and quite a story it is.
Yes, I was. I was the third oldest. There were 6 boys and 6 girls.
Wow.
And we were very poor. Of course, with 12 kids, I guess you're going to be.
Absolutely.
But my father was an alcoholic, and my mother had mental problems. So I very rarely remember her even being normal. But we kind of were on our own and raised ourselves, so it was pretty tough.
Yeah, I remember reading in one of the articles that's been written about you that when another baby came along, someone said to you, "You're responsible for this one," and you were, what, 10?
Yeah, I was, well, when I had to quit school, I was 15, and I think he was the 10th one that was born, and my dad said, "You're going to quit school this year, and you're going to take care of your little brother."
Wow.
I said, "Oh, I can. I'm 15 years old. You have to be 16 to quit school." So he made me drop out, and I took care of my little brother, and I just hated it at first. And then after a while, I grew really close to him, and
I would imagine that you would,
Yeah,
parenting that
yeah.
child. And how's your adult relationship, just out of curiosity, with that brother?
Oh, great. I love him. I love them all.
I love
They're
that.
wonderful brothers and sisters.
And are all of you still able to stay in contact, still in the area, still close?
We are, except one. I lost one brother, the oldest boy, due to lung disease. But
That's
yeah, we're
amazing.
all in Louisville, so that's good.
That's incredible. And, you know, those years really, I think, shaped your desire to be able to do something unique. And you've said over and over again, I can make something out of nothing. And we've seen you do it, you know, and we have a joke about MacGyvering things, because I think you and I are both pretty much the same way. We can take toothpicks and spit and glue and make something happen. But that's how you built Margaret's Consignments.
I did. I started off, actually, I had no money. Of course, I've been like that most of my life. But I started off with mostly yard sale items because I was kind of a yard sale fanatic, and I borrowed a pickup truck, and I had about maybe $300 worth of yard sale items, and I cleaned my closets and talked to a couple friends, and that's how I started. And I yard saled every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I cut hair before I went to work. Yard sale before I went to work. Then I worked, and then I went home and cut more hair, just, to get going.
And you were a single mom while this was going
I
on.
was. Yeah, I was. And I was
Amazing.
almost 50. I was 48 when I started my business.
Incredible. And now you're 49. That's pretty good. Margaret, what interests me so much about you is that I watched from the beginning of this little tiny shop that was on Frankfurt Avenue. I think it was farther down the road, wasn't it? At the
Right.
corner
I
of
was
Stills?
at Stilts on the second floor.
I remember it was small and it was hard to get to.
Yeah.
And it grew, and now you have maybe 4 or 5 buildings all kind of conjoined, right?
Yeah,
to
there's
make up
4.
the current store.
Yes.
And it is a hotbed of activity on the Frankfurt Avenue Trolley Hop Night. I have to tell you, that is ground zero for fun.
It's fun. They say if you want a party, come to Margaret.
Especially when Tanita Gaines is in the house.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she's great. I love her.
And, you also have been heavily involved with some organizational efforts like Denim with a Difference. I want to hear about that.
That was a real interesting project. A couple had come into the shop, and we just got to talking. They were from out of town, and they had a son or a daughter that lived here. And they got to talking about this installation that they make for Habitat homes.
Amazing.
And I said, oh, well, maybe I can help you. I think it was through UK. And I said, maybe I can help you collect. So
Perfect.
we did, and I'm telling you, we got thousands of pairs of jeans, and they grind the jeans up and make that insulation.
Yeah, so they can really help to use old denim to insulate new homes, which are being created for people who would not be able to have them otherwise.
Absolutely.
And you also are famous for derby hat recycling, because, how many of us actually wear the same derby hat over and over and over again because we can't afford to buy new ones? Then how many people actually have to buy a new derby hat every year? You take care of saving those derby hats from certain death.
Well, thank you. We do. And we also do a hospice function with derby hats.
Yes.
And then I make some. I've made a lot of derby hats and sold them there. But that
So
is
you're a milliner and a MacGyver.
Yes.
I love that. Talk to us a little bit about Hospice, because they actually named a wing or a room in Hospice in your honor because of the tremendous amount of work that you've done for Hospice.
Yes, Bob Mueller came to me and asked me if I could maybe earn or give him $12,000. I said, well, right now I can. I said, but I will get it.
Yeah.
So I went
Time
to
in the economy for everyone.
Right. So I went to the Frankfort Avenue Business Association, and I said, if you all will help me, I said, I want to raise $12,000. What it was, there were 6 rooms, and it's an older hospital, and it was dated, so it was $12,000 just to get it up to code, like the electric and plumbing and that.
Wow.
So I said, for every dollar that you donate, I will match. And it ended up, I think I raised about $3,000 through FABA, and so I ended up having to pay the $9,000.
Well, you know what? We're so proud of the Frankfort Avenue Business Association for 25% of that.
Oh,
stake.
yeah.
And you have, as I said, a new room that you've just built in your house, which features only your awards. I'm teasing, of course. But there's not any reason to think that you couldn't, because you've had several Best of Louisville awards.
Yes,
for
I
Best
have.
Consignment Shop, the Spirit of Crescent Hill Award, the Good Neighbor Award, the Business of the Year Award, the Hospice Award. As I said, I can't even continue to list them because we don't have enough time in the show.
I do have a
But
lot of
you
awards.
do.
I can't imagine. I don't
An
know.
Oscar, a Tony, a Grammy. Well, James is going to have the Grammys. Sorry
There
about
you
that.
go.
Yeah, he's going to take the Grammys. But all of these awards really mean a lot to all of us, because it just is an indication of our thanks to you for what you've done. And before
Thank
we
you.
finish, I want to hear one thing from you. What was Frankfort Avenue like when you first came to build Margaret's Consignment? And it was a few decades ago.
It was. It was not a really pleasant place. There were buildings that were run down, and there were buildings that were boarded up. And Clifton was pretty rough. We didn't go down that way too much. But, yeah, it was not a pretty picture when I came to the Avenue.
Well, and you were mostly responsible, I think, I can say that clearly, for driving the force that has created Frankfort as the Avenue, and that's the new stinger.
Yes,
it's
it is.
the Avenue. 2700 Frankfort Avenue is where you'll find Margaret's Consignments, and if you're interested in helping with any of the wonderful charitable projects she does, she helps with everything. She volunteers for every project on Frankfort Avenue. She's been the Grand Marshal in the Easter Parade, for heaven's sake. So we appreciate, we thank you, and we look forward to the presentations of continued awards to Margaret Browning from Margaret's Consignments. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Tara. You're a doll.
Thank
Appreciate
you so
it
much.
very
And have
much.
fun at your volunteer event tonight, for which
I
you will be
will.
raising money, I'm sure.
Thank you so much.
Margaret Browning, and visit her at 2700 Frankfort Avenue. We'll be back in just a few seconds. We're going to be talking about the roller coaster ride in the housing market. An expert on the subject, Beth Northup, will be here to help us through the buying and selling of our homes. Don't go away. Thank you, my dear. That was wonderful. Thank you. Great. I appreciate your time. This program brought to you by Vicki Cochran Family Dentistry, a small dental practice that treats everyone as if they are family members. Vicki Cochran offers preventive, restorative, cosmetic, and prosthetic dentistry. She also performs minor oral surgery, some endodontics, and periodontics. Located at 2022 Brownsboro Road, find Vicki Cochran DMD on Facebook or call 502-897-3898. Vicki Cochran Family Dentistry, 502-897-3898.
Give your dollar a squeezy. The girl's got the answer, you better believe me. Take it from Tara. Take it from Tara. Take it from Tara. Take it from Tara.
Oh, it's so much fun to hear your name in a jingle. I'm so excited. And Beth Northup, thank you for sharing that moment of the jingle with me.
I loved it.
I know, I did
was
too.
fun.
Beth Sturgeon Northup joins us. She's a fantastic realtor now with ABG Weichert, I understand.
Weichert Realtors, ABG Properties.
Oh,
yes.
ABG Properties. Okay, Weichert Realtors. And, you know, you and I have known each other for most of our lives, right?
Yes, we have.
I think I met Beth the first time when she was a child, and then the second time when she was in Junior Miss.
I was in Junior Miss.
Yes, you were, and you were beautiful. And known your mom and dad for a long time. Tom Sturgeon.
Yes.
And Vicki Sturgeon is your stepmom, who is also a former Miss Kentucky.
Yes.
Let's just keep working on the pageant corner here, okay? So, and your sister,
My sister.
who is tremendous.
She's quite a talent.
Yes, she is. She has become quite the celebrity herself.
She has been on Victorious, an episode of Victorious.
Isn't
and
that
she's
amazing?
Signed with a talent agency, so she's kind of doing her own thing. She's an amazing dancer. That's her talent.
Well, all of the family members, and we won't forget Tommy and Paige.
Oh, Tommy's the musician.
Yes, all of the family members are tremendously talented. So that's why I invited Beth to come on, because she is tremendously talented as well. You have two beautiful kids. You're a single mom. You're working full time.
Yeah.
And let me just tell you, if I have a question about the housing market, I want to know it from you, because you went to work for your dad with Sturgeon Properties many years ago.
Right.
And you've really grown up in this business.
I have been in this business, I mean, really, whoops, almost fell. Since
No,
I was
don't do
about,
that.
Yeah, I don't want to fall.
We don't have liability insurance on Take It From Tara.
That would be funny. That'd be great. But no, since I was about 4 years old, when I was driving over here and I was thinking about it, my brother and I sitting in the back seat of my dad's car, and on Sundays we'd be driving to open houses or going to look at land that was to be developed.
Isn't that
and
funny?
We cried the whole time. I thought, I hate this. I'm hungry. I have to go to the bathroom. I mean, the whole, and it's that whole mother curse thing. Whatever
Sure.
you put out, you get back from your kids.
There
So
you go.
There I am putting out my open house signs on Fridays, and my kids,
Crying in the back
we
seat.
hate this. Like, well, they're my business partners.
Well, and Josh and Megan are pretty precocious kids. So to hear the things that come out of their mouths would not shock me at all, knowing that they're your children.
I know.
The fall of 2010, well, maybe a little bit earlier, it was the end of an era in Louisville's home building boom.
Yes.
And, you and I both know that because we were working together on Louisville's Best New Homes, which ran an extraordinary 19 years on WHAS 11. And the Home Builders Association had this fantastic show that I was fortunate enough to be able to host. And you were on many times.
Right.
And when the home builders started to really suffer, their ability to promote themselves began to suffer as well, and the show was canceled.
So sad.
It was, but the sad thing is that this has lasted for a couple of years, and there are many builders who have never been able to make it back into the building business because of the decimation of the housing market.
It was so sad. And to be honest, I started seeing it really in 2005.
Wow.
Is when I began to notice we had just opened up a development, and we were selling lots and homes were transferring and everything seemed great. And then all of a sudden it was sort of the calm before the storm, and things started to slow down, and we were struggling a bit to sell lots, and no one quite knew what to expect or what was happening, and we tried to remain positive, but it just continued to really go down and down. It was really hard time to be in the industry and watch people you love
Absolutely.
and you've grown up with who have been so successful, and they're creative and talented, and they can't get loans. They can't sell their homes.
That's right.
It was heartbreaking.
Or stuck with a huge amount of inventory of newly built homes that were unsaleable at that point.
Or land.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so we have seen the tide begin to shift after this long and painful process. So you started noticing it in 2005. That's a good.
I did. That's
6
when
or 7 years, though.
Right,
And you
right.
had a little premonition, possibly because of your experience and because you were hands-on in dealing with it. What's happening right now? Because I seem to be hearing better news.
2012 is really the first year that there have been true signs of a recovery. And if you look at sales through October, I want to say nationwide we're up like 11%. And Louisville tends to do better than the national market
That's
anyway.
right.
And I know through the end of October, we were up, I want to say 15% versus a year ago. So
That's
it's,
amazing.
yes, and home values are going up. Permits are being pulled. It's,
Very good.
Yes, so it's all good news. All good news.
Well, you know, you and I both know and love Joe Pusateri of Elite Homes, who's been a longtime leader of the Home Building Association. And he said to me so many times, home building drives the economy.
Right.
And until the homes are starting to be built again, we're not going to see an increase, a resurgence in the recovery.
Yep, that's exactly right. I mean, I think they say, and Teresa Morgan's the one who said this statistic, so I have to give a shout out to Teresa Morgan. But I think
Absolutely.
for every new home that's built, three jobs are created. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about all the people that go into the new construction. I mean, from contractors to designers to the mortgage lender. I mean, it's huge.
Absolutely. Well, Tony Wyletta and I shot this home show for 19 years, and we would drive to all the developments, the newly constructed homes, and we would see literally hundreds of people, especially when a Homerama was coming around or there was a new development that was being built quickly. You'd see the crews who were doing the framing, the crews who were doing the brick, the crews who were coming in to do the inside and the finishing, and you know, the roofers, and it was a huge project, and you always saw employment.
Right.
And that's so exciting. So where are we right now? I mean, we're talking on Crescent Hill Radio, so let's just address our local Crescent Hill area.
Sure.
This has always been a hot place to live.
It's a great area to
It's
live.
become an even hotter place to live.
Well, and it's interesting because as I'm out working with buyers or sellers, I'm doing comps, and I'm a real numbers girl, which is funny, but I am. And one of
That doesn't surprise me.
it kind of surprises me.
You have a degree in English, though.
I know. I'm
And
I'm a
advertising
poetry gal.
and
but,
public relations.
well, you know.
But you're
all of
brilliant,
it.
so go
Oh,
ahead.
you're
Keep
sweet.
talking.
I don't know about that.
No,
but,
I'm just telling the truth.
But I am good at my numbers, and one of the things that I thought was interesting is when I've been doing comps, I can kind of tell when someone has overpaid for a house, like, or if they bought like 2005 to 2007, because I walk in and the price seems to be a bit high.
Interesting.
And I can always tell that. But when I've done comps for a few homes in Crescent Hill, Clifton area, I've found that things did not depreciate in other areas necessarily. And if anything, and I can't, you know, it depends on the street and
Sure,
it
it
depends
does.
on the price point. But if anything, there are a few homes I've done that are actually, they've appreciated
Wow.
since. Yeah, and I think it's because you've got all that wonderful, you were talking about Margaret's and how all the commercial development that's happened since then, and this is the Avenue. And
Yes.
I mean, it's all about that.
And talk to me a little bit about folks who don't choose to live in single-family homes, because we've often referred to condominiums as the place that never loses its equity. But you know, it's hard to sell a condo sometimes.
It is, but it's becoming better.
Good.
Yes. I mean, that is the beauty. For a long time, we were struggling to sell condominiums, but just this past year, I mean, it's really improved. And part of it, I think, is lending standards.
Yes.
Lenders are more likely these days to do loans on the condominiums, and they've gotten creative in terms of financing on that. So I've seen just over the past year a real, I guess I'd say, an upsurge in the condo sales as well.
You know, and another thing I hear about a lot and I see commercials about and really don't understand is reverse mortgages. Do you have anything you can tell me about that to explain it a little bit?
You know, I'm not a
very
mortgage
complicated.
gal.
Yeah, well, then I don't wanna
You
ask
can
you
ask
that.
me anything
I'll
about
call
it.
Teresa Morgan.
It's yeah. Talk to somebody else about that. It has to do with your equity, and I don't really deal with reverse.
That's
reverse
okay.
mortgages.
You're a realtor. You're not supposed to know about mortgages.
but I know everything else.
I know you do. And if you would like some help or some guidance in buying and selling a home, because some of the things that we have to be able to do, and quickly I'm going to go through this, to sell a home, you said your favorite phrase is clutter cuts equity.
Kills.
Kills equity.
Not to be morbid, but it kills
Wow.
equity.
So get rid of all your clutter.
Yes.
No tchotchkes when you're showing your
No,
house.
you look at the tchotchke and you honor the person who gave it to you, and then you donate it to the
Okay.
charitable cause.
Very good. What else can we do to sell our houses more efficiently?
Well, I think with everything that's happened with the economy and people are under so much stress, these days what I'm noticing is people have a lot less tolerance for fixer-uppers.
Yes.
And they want to be able to move in and just not do anything. And so just a coat of paint makes a huge difference.
Huge difference.
Carpets cleaned, decluttering, like I said, and also just have a handyman come through the house
Yeah.
and just take care of stuff that we've walked past for 10 years and never saw, and he'll be able to say, oh, well, I could fix that really easily. And I forgot that was there, you know?
And if you're having a showing, my recommendation would be to remove the dogs and cats from the house or corral them somehow.
Yes, I would.
Don't let the animals of the ark run free while people are seeing your house.
And I love pets.
I
And you
know.
know I have cats.
Yes.
So I'm immune to it. But a lot of people, they have allergies. They're
Yes.
sensitive to odors.
Yes.
Or they're scared. They could be
Exactly.
afraid. So I think ideally it's better if you can remove the animals. Yes,
that would be a
definitely.
good thing just for the showing period. Maybe you have a nice neighbor who would be cooperative. You know, there are so many things involved in your work that we're going to have to schedule another interview, maybe in the middle of winter when everybody's bored, just to talk about staging a house and how to sell your house, and then to help us prepare our houses for sale if we're thinking about buying another house, because then you get into a whole nother problem where you got 2 mortgages going.
And you know who you should, well, am
What?
I allowed to say Barry Uli?
Of course you are.
He's one of our sponsors.
He's sponsoring the show. You can talk about him.
He is an artist, and
Oh,
he
wow.
has helped me stage homes before, and he is another dynamo that you ought to bring on to talk about.
Cool.
He's just really talented. It's important. Staging is key.
It is.
It's a big deal these days.
Yeah. Well, I thank you for your time, and give us a website that we can reach you and we can find out more about buying and selling real estate.
Well, my company website, it's www.abgrealtors.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Beth
Good.
Sturgeon, Northup Realtor. Be my fan.
Be your fan.
I'll be your fan if you're my fan.
I like that. Telephone number where someone could call you with questions.
Sure. 502-819-2384 is how you can reach me.
Excellent. Beth, thanks so much for taking
Thank
the time
you.
to come in. So
Thanks
good
for
to see you.
having
Give
me.
Megan and Josh my best.
I will do it.
And we will look forward to hearing more about them. You know, we're gonna switch to a little bit more serious topic that every person here can really appreciate, and that's the aging of a wonderful, beloved pet, and what you do to serve the needs of those pets as they get into their senior years. Dr. Courtney Bennett, who is a hospice veterinarian, is going to have the answers for us. We're going to hear a little bit from James Sane while we make the set switch. So, James, take it away. Sane, and he's our discovery this week, and we're so proud of him. He's actually a barista at Nancy's Bagel Grounds here on the Avenue, Frankfurt Avenue, that is. And we thank Nancy Theobald once again for covering for him so he could get off a few minutes to come down here and sing and play for us. And we're discovering, Courtney Bennett, that we have an upcoming star in the house.
I think so.
I
I've
absolutely
been
think so.
absolutely impressed.
I love it. And I see Kathy Weisbach out there, who owns Crescent Hill Radio, nodding and smiling, you know, because she's like, wow, Tara, you found somebody who actually can sing and play. I like that. Of course, we've had many, many talented musicians. We're going to continue to have them be a part of our show, but we really appreciate you today, James. Thank you. Heart's Ease Veterinary Hospice is something that's very near and dear to Courtney Bennett's heart, and Dr. Courtney Bennett, I should say. Yeah.
Whatever you're comfortable with.
A
is fine
hospice
with me.
veterinarian who literally has just relocated to the area from Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh. I'm still on
Welcome.
the Ohio River, so not too far.
Right. Well, we are so glad to have you. And you and I met at the Bark in the Park, which was
Yes,
an Animal
back in
Care
September.
Society function, and immediately clicked.
Yeah,
And
you were great.
Started to talk about what we can do to get you into the life of Louisville. And boy, I tell you what, you've done a great job.
Well, I've been trying hard, working hard. It's a great city. Everyone's really welcoming. You were great. The first time you came and talked to me, and you were just vibrant, and you said, get a Facebook page. And
That's
I got
right.
a Facebook page.
That's good. You always do what I say. That's the key. If you get a Facebook page, though, you connect in with the community, and especially with the animal community. And we are a bunch of crazy people when it comes to our animals in Louisville. We love our animals. We take care of our animals. We go to all kinds of lengths for our animals. But you know, the hardest part of realizing that our animals are never going to outlive us is where you really come into the picture. And, you know, if you just look at my Facebook page, and I actually sent you a couple of these comments, I mentioned that Dr. Courtney Bennett will be with us on Take It From Tara, and I got this stream of random comments, which were just totally offered without prompting, about about the work you've already done. Maureen Keenan from Saving Sunny said you were a hospice vet for one of their pups. You've done wonderful work for Animal Care Society. Janet Robertson Warner talked to us about what you've done. And getting ready to escort a pet into the last stages of life is probably one of the hardest things we can do, and you certainly are there to make that easier for us and for them.
Yeah, I think it's just a really important thing. We were talked about how 50% of our animal population is they're geriatrics.
Yes.
And so I think we've moved past, the phase where we moved into the phase where we want to talk about what we can do to make end-of-life care the best. And end-of-life care doesn't have to be right before euthanasia. It doesn't have to be the day before. It may be. But I think that people should know when their pet is diagnosed with a terminal illness or when they've been unable to treat for whatever reason, that there are options that may not have to be euthanasia today, tomorrow, but in a week or in a month or whatever the time frame warrants.
Yes.
So I think end-of-life care, I get a lot of people saying that that's really sad or that and it is, it's a sad thing, but it's a part of life,
It is. And a lot of people don't know that this is an established practice in the veterinary field. And a lot of people talk about the fact that they don't know that it's available, but you start to think, what could we possibly do better for our animals than to give them the gift of somebody who's a specialist in helping them deal with the last stages of life and give them an escort across the Rainbow Bridge, as we call it. And you've got a definite passion for it.
Yeah, I've always loved the oldies. We've got a house full of old pets now, and I think it's an important stage to carry on the human-animal bond. As we get older, it gets very difficult when your pets are losing control of bladder and bowel functions, when they're not seeing well, when it may be harder to get them to eat, or they're having tougher days. And so I think it's an important time for us as veterinarians to come in and make sure we make that easier for you as the owner, as the pet parent, and for the animal too.
Well, and you met Margaret Browning, who was here, and she's been recognized by Hospice. You had your own experience with Hospice, which was very, very personal to you.
Yes, my mom back in Pittsburgh was part of Hospice for about the last year and a half. Actually, when she entered into it, we were told it was weeks. So you never know. You don't know if it's going to be weeks, months, and sometimes a year, a little over a year for her. And, it's funny because I went through being very angry, and the hospice, people would come in and I would just kind of be emotional and angry, but they were wonderful. And that's part of what I have to do too, is sometimes, I have clients that are just angry. They're sad, they're upset. And it's good to have someone there that can kind of just support you. There's no judgment, and that's a lot of what I had on the human hospice end. So it was a great experience.
Well, and I want to talk about how the actual hospice care actually is taking place, because it's not just a matter of call us when your dog is ready to be put to sleep. We'll come to your house and do it. You get involved a lot earlier on in the process.
Yeah, I think it's better for the family and for the pet to have hospice started before we're at the stage where there is extensive suffering or pain or concern. I think that there are cases where it may just be mobility or senior pets, that it's too difficult to get them into the car, or they're too stressed with the car ride. And at 14, you don't want them to have to go through that.
Right.
Or an animal that's been diagnosed with cancer, and the family has decided not to go for extensive chemotherapy or surgery, whether it's financial or emotional, or maybe the treatment options really aren't options.
Yes.
And so palliative care is what we want to do. We want to get into the home. I'm strictly mobile. I come to the pets and their families, and we go ahead and do a thorough physical, start with our phone call and then move into the initial home consult.
And you told me that there is an initial charge, and then you're not worried about paying bills after that.
Well,
which it kind of makes it simple to pay it up front.
Yeah, the initial consult, which again we start with a telephone call, and then normally we're meeting, together for about 2 hours, and we're going to review past records. We're going to do a thorough physical, and we're going to talk about what your needs, concerns, wants, what your past experiences have been with euthanasia or losing a pet, so that we kind of know where everyone stands and that we can implement the best care plan as possible.
Well, and you and and I sat at Nancy's Bagels, of course, when James was there talking and crying about our own experiences with putting our animals down. And it's an experience that you never forget. And some people have lived it multiple times.
Yeah.
And we're going to, as long as animals' lives are, between maybe 7 and 15 years at best. And if we're lucky to have older cats, older dogs, that's fantastic. But, the truth of the matter is we're never going to have our pets outlive us for the most part.
Right.
And so getting the opportunity to have hospice service for something as special and family-oriented as a pet family is great. You told me about one family recently that you served that literally had every member involved in the care of this animal right to the end.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, the people that I meet. And it's not just the mom or the dad or the son, but we've got aunts and uncles and cousins and grandparents. And I want that many people taking care of me as I age. So yeah, it can be pretty impressive. I've been touched by the care that people really just present, not just one or two people from the family.
We do the family thing here in Kentucky. There's no doubt. Every single member that's related is there for every event. Birth, death, confirmation, graduation, marriages, whatever. And it's actually very nice. I want to know how I can give people more information about hospice, and you've got a beautiful website that gives a tremendous amount of that detail.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you go to heartseasevet.com, and it always sounds funny when I enunciate Heart's Ease, but it's HEARTS Ease.
Yes. In other words, it's easing your heart. It's easing the pain of your heart.
Absolutely.
Heartseasevet.com.
Yeah, we've got a Facebook page too. I'm trying to keep it updated with some really good, just educational things for anyone out there.
Wonderful.
But there's an amazing resource list out there. Books, organizations. There's a great organization, national, called IAAHPC, the International Animal Association of Hospice and Palliative Care. It took me about 4 months to get that down, but I can finally roll it off my tongue.
You know what else, too, though? You're the first one that pops up if you put in hospice veterinary or veterinary hospice care in Louisville. Your Heart's Ease pops up there on that list. Yeah. So, and I don't know that there are very many other people, and I don't think there's anyone who's practicing like you're practicing. There are vets who will go to the home to perform euthanasia, but you are unique in this area right now.
Yeah, it's a growing field, and it needs to be. I mean, the AVMA, the American Veterinary Medical Association, came out with guidelines in early 2000.
Yes,
because the human population with their animals need that. They need to know that this care is there. And the worst thing for me is always to hear someone say, I didn't know that I could have this.
Yeah.
And I work as an extension of the regular veterinarian. We all work together. And I think the most important thing is our client and making sure that their pet is as comfortable as they can be.
Well, I think you and I have a whole lot more to talk about. And I'm going to invite you to come back for a special opportunity to just talk about our animals and how to guide the family through those last years, because we've had some very significant deaths in the animal community just in the last couple of days. People who are specifically animal rescue advocates. Ellen Cullinan's cat brother passed away, which was heartbreaking in a dental procedure. And we have lost animals and found animals and animals who are being adopted and animals who are dying. And everybody talks about our animals in this particular area as if they are the other human members of the family. That's how we feel about them. So we appreciate your care for them as they make their transition out of this life.
Oh, thank you.
Will you come back and talk to me some more?
I will.
Wonderful. Dr. Courtney Bennett, give us a telephone number that we can call for you.
502-715-2536.
Questions, guidance about hospice care for your veterinary patients, and heartseasevet.com is the website. Thanks, Courtney.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being with us so much. Thank you so much.
Sure.
We'll hear a little bit more. James, would you play under me for this a little bit? I'm going to go ahead and talk about next week's show. This is called a show promo. We'll have a little instrumental James Sane music while we talk. Next Monday, December 17th on Take It From Tara, we're going to talk to an expert in physical therapy on the new way to stay in shape when you've had an injury. Teresa Scherfius joins us, and Chris Hartman from the Fairness Campaign is going to talk to us about the meaning of equality in our town, and it's a very important topic. We want to hear what he has to say. Barb Cullen from the Armored Car Theater Company updates us on her recent contributions to the Louisville theatrical world. And this is an interview I'm so looking forward to. Martha Creek is going to explain to us that the end of the world is not really going to happen on December 21st. It's actually a new birth. It's the Birth 2012 event, and that is going to be a fantastic event on the 21st. Plus, we're going to have stylings of Take Two. It's a new musical affiliation, but someone you're going to know and love very, very much. June Kelly Roy and her new singing partner. Can't wait to have Take Two. That's all coming up next Monday on Take It From Tara. It's going to be live at 5 o'clock. And James, if you will play for us for just a few seconds, enjoy this beautiful music from James Sane. We'll be right back. Vicki Cochran, who is a wonderful dentist in the area and who is sponsoring our show. We thank you very much for that. Vicki, Margaret Browning of Margaret's Consignments, who is such a humanitarian, has done so much for Frankfort Avenue, and we are just so grateful that we had a chance to talk to her. Beth Northup, Realtor, who has a grip on the selling and buying of houses in this area. And, of course, Dr. Courtney Bennett of Heartsease Veterinary Hospice. We thank you all. Plus, musician and songwriter James Sane. We've got a great show coming up next Monday. Hey, James, can you take us out with another exciting song? James Sane, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for being with us tonight. We'll see you next Monday on Take It From Tara.
Choices, it ain't easy. Get the bank for your buck, give your dollars